and finish with our last day of Yeshua. The last part of the last day of Yeshua. Matthew 27:51 through 60, Mark 15:38 through 46, John 19:31 through 42, and Luke 23:47 through 49. We're not going to look at all of those. We'll probably read one of them and then mention some of the other ones. Ari, can I get two waters? Two waters. Two waters. There's some things that happen in one account that gives us more information. I think that we'll probably just read the Matthew account, and then we'll have to kind of look at some of the other accounts to get the added information about what's going on here, instead of just reading them all. But if we look at Matthew 27, verse 51, and then let's read. Let's read all the way down through verse 60.
Matthew 27:51. And see, the veil of the dwelling place was torn in two from top to bottom. And the earth was shaken, and the rocks were split, and the tombs were opened, and many bodies of the set apart ones who had fallen asleep were raised. And coming out of the tombs after his resurrection, they went into the set apart city and appeared to many. And when the captain of those with him who were guarding Yeshua saw the earthquake and all that took place, they feared exceedingly, saying, truly this was the Son of Elohim. And many women who followed Yeshua from Galilee attended him, were there watching from a distance, among whom were Miriam and Magdala, and Miriam the mother of Jacob and Joseph, and the mother of Zebediah's sons. And when evening came, there came a rich man from Rathaim, named Joseph, who himself had also become a top one of Yeshua. And he went to Pilate and asked for the body of Yeshua. And Pilate commanded the body to be given. And having taken the body, Joseph wrapped it in clean linen and laid it in his new tomb, which he had hewn out of the rock. And he rolled a large stone against the door of the tomb and went away.
Okay, very good. So let's go back up here and look at a few things. This interesting phenomenon takes place at the time when Yeshua, at the time when he dies. This veil of the dwelling place, the veil of the most holy place, was torn from top to bottom. And it's interesting that they make sure to say it was torn from top to bottom, because you know how to get torn from top to bottom. See if somebody tore it from the bottom to top. But it tore from top to bottom at the same time when it became dark all over the place for the space of 3 hours or whatever it was that we talked about from before. And so you had this earth shaking and these rocks splitting, you know, but this veil, so interesting, the veil was super thick, right? It was multi-layered, this veil was. It was thick, right? It says that it was a hand's breadth thick. Like, if you can imagine having this veil that's that thick.
Yeah.
Right? It's got layers to it. And the thing was like 40 cubits high. The cubits is like 18 inches. So what's 18 times? 18 inches, 40 times. How many feet is that? 18 inches times 40. How many inches is that? And then convert it over into feet after you do that.
720 inches, right? 18 times 40.
60 feet?
All right, how many feet? 60 feet?
Yeah,
60 feet. That's not, it's not that tall.
40 cubits.
It's 18.
We're talking about the second temple, so
I'll
it's,
do it now.
second temple is different than the tabernacle.
Oh, okay. That was really tall. Is it 40 cubits?
40 cubits, and a cubit is 18 inches.
Yeah,
Right.
60 feet.
60.
60 feet. That's taller than a mug. Right, but that thing ripped, right, from the top to the bottom. And so on this veil, of course, it had this embroidered cherubim, which exemplified these spiritual or angelic guardians. Right, if we go back to Genesis, let's go back to Genesis 3 and 24. What's that
In
say?
Genesis 3 and 24. And he drove the man out, and he placed cherubim at the east of the Garden of Eden, and a flaming sword which turned every way to guard the way of the tree of life.
Okay, very good. So the actual kind of practical application of the cherubim was their guardians, right? And we first see them whenever Adam and Hava get banished from the garden, and then they can't come back because they have these cherubim that are blocking the road, the path, these spiritual guardians. But we have, on the mercy seat, the place where the glory resides, these cherubim with the, that are on either side of the mercy seat with the presence in the middle. And also on the veil of the most holy place, you have the picture here of these cherubim. And so when the veil then is rent, this separation, now access has been created to the presence of the Most High, the place where the Most High dwells. Right, this is symbolic, of course, because the dwelling place at this time, the Most High's presence didn't dwell there anymore, right? But when this thing happens, it happens, and it helps us. It's showing us this lesson that there's access to the presence, and that's when we see, that's what we see kind of with that veil being broken. But when that happens, it said in 52 that these tombs were open, and then bodies of these holy ones, people that was dead, and in life I guess they was righteous or whatever it calls them, bodies of set apart ones who have fallen asleep, they died, was raised. and came out of the tombs after his resurrection. So probably the tombs get opened when this thing happens. The rocks split and all of this. And then it seems like from the reading that after the resurrection, which at this point didn't happen yet, then they come out. And so it's like this thing that happens with Yeshua, this kind of this status change thing, this thing that happens. We talked about this, the way that Yeshua conquers death. At this time, he don't conquer it yet, right? But it makes sense to talk about after he conquers it with the resurrection, that these people are just raised from the dead and walk out of the tombs that was shaken open by this earthquake that happens in the vicinity.
Probably like a ripple in the space-time continuum. They might have came back and it just rewinded the paper for them.
Oh my goodness. That sounds crazy.
Hey, it could be.
Something happened.
Hey, the moon stopping, the sun blocked out, and why not? Yeah, I mean.
Something happened. And it happens in connection with this victory that happens over death. Again, 53 fast forwards it to after the resurrection. But the tombs open whenever these rocks and things are shaken, when Yeshua actually dies and the veil rents and all of this. And so the way is made for these people to come forth, and then whenever the deed is done, the way that's made gets realized, and these righteous ones they're raised, and a whole bunch of people seen them. They appeared to many. So these many, I don't know what that means, many. I guess a lot of people saw people that was supposed to be dead. And they wasn't dead anymore.
That's where they get zombies from. I guess that concept, because I've been reading the Bible for a while, but I never stopped and thought about this. Like these people came out the tombs and walked to the city. What do that look like? Did they have on different clothes? Like, did their body not fully? Was it not decayed? Like, did they look like when they was alive? Like, that's imagery right there.
I mean, who knows how long the people was dead, but I think that when here it just says that they were raised. They was asleep. They was raised, and they appeared to many. I would liken it probably unto things that we've seen in the past, as far as people being raised. We think about Lazarus, who was definitely rotting. His body was stinking. The scripture talks about it was 4 days old. He was in bad shape. Now, there's not a time period placed on these ones. It just was these set apart ones who had at some point died. It doesn't say, and then they were raised. Yeah. But I can only assume that these people was restored to life, and so they was healed from death.
Right.
And all of the things that is connected to it. And a whole bunch of people saw them.
It was Victory Day.
Yes.
Yeah.
I guess, but the only thing I think about when I think about this is like now this person has to die again. You know what I mean? That's the only thing I think about. It's like, this place, was over. They were resting with the wherever they was resting at, and then now they had to come back again. But the point here is that people see this and now people believe.
Right.
And so it's like these people become now a testimony of who Yeshua is. Because he died, and then next thing you know, these other people that I know was dead, now they're alive again. And then so the result is especially with these guards who have seen it, he said, truly this was the Son of Elohim.
Yeah, for sure.
If you're talking about these guards, the people that was guarding, these people was mocking. If you the Son of Elohim, get down from there. And then them same people that was mocking him see all this, and now they know. Now they believe. This is him. He's the guy.
I'm just thinking about him when he died at that moment, for these people to get out the grave like that transaction was like completed.
Yes, that's right.
It's like your sin is now cleared.
It was finished.
Yeah, like, but like just at that moment, like these people dead in tombs, and him dying, that spirit, that process or whatever all take place, caused these dead people to come out the tomb. I got to think about that more. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
look.
The crazy part about it too, though, it still didn't change anybody's mind. But in Luke's account, it says in Luke 23:48, and when all the crowds who had gathered to that site saw what took place, they beat their breasts and went away. So all them people that are saying, "Let this be on our children and our children's children," they were there to watch this. They see these people raised up.
I can't imagine that.
Yeah. When you look at Luke's account, it's interesting because it's almost like this is like a kind of an act of remorse, because you was the ones that was sitting up here saying all of this stuff about Yeshua as if he wasn't who he said he was, and now you see, as it says there, it talks about the captain who saw it. He has the same response, but the people now have seen all of this, and they understand that we messed up here, guys. Like he really was that.
So the act of beating their breasts is symbolic of them acknowledging a wrong, or
I don't know. I don't know if we can call it repentance necessarily. If they turned around,
yeah.
But it is kind of this act of remorse and understanding that they was wrong.
Oh, okay.
And so I don't know how far it goes if they turn all the way around, but that thing of the beating your breast, part of the thing that you do when we do the thing for atonement, where it talks about forgive us for the sin that we sinned against you. As you're saying it, it says that you're supposed to beat your breast as you're repenting. So the action is an act of kind of remorse. And so at least I think we're able to see from the crowds that there was kind of an understanding of what happened, and the fact that all the stuff that they were saying was wrong. And now how far that goes, we don't necessarily know, but they very well could be on the road to true repentance. But I think the point is that everybody who was there saw it, and the tone that they had changed based on this kind of amazing, scary. I mean, it's a scary thing. I think to even witness. Not even talking about people coming to life, but the darkness. There's an earthquake. Like things are. It's a lot. All as a result of, like, if they're sitting there in real time and this happens, like, you're not thinking like, oh, he died. Oh man, it's an earthquake. Like, you're combining all of these things together as you should. Like, that thing happened and this happened as a result of it. Like, and so
I was just making sure so it's a cultural thing. They beat their breast to do that because you think like a warrior beats his breast like pridefully or something like that. So I was just making sure it wasn't like that.
Yeah, I didn't think about it like that. Yeah, but it kind of is like a kind of a remorseful kind of an act that they're doing there, because they're seeing what's happened. Okay, yes, and Luke brings that out. So let's go back to Matthew. It mentions in 55 and 56 many women who follow Yeshua. I think thinking about the fact that his disciples were all absent. I think I kind of talked about this before. I think that it's important. I think that it was important for them to be absent, because they really, they have to hold the mantle, right? They're the ones that have to keep this thing going, and I think that, to me, it makes sense for them not to be there. To me, it makes sense for them not to be there because they're this gang, and they got the boss, and they would be right on the list, I think, if they was there. To me, it's right for them not to be there. And that's what we see, and then the many women who did follow are in fact there to witness. I think it's just interesting that the scripture, that they bring that point out. But the next part I think is interesting because we find out some things with this Joseph here of Arimathea, who in Matthew it says, it just says that he was a taught one. He was a disciple. In Matthew, it just mentions that he's a taught one and he's rich. He's a rich man, where he's originally from. That's kind of his name. People with common names, they put like a little thing with it. He's Joseph, from Arimathea, right? But if we look at Mark, look at Mark's version. Mark gives us a couple extra added information here. Look at Mark 15 and read 42 and 43.
It says, and when the evening had come, because it was the preparation day, that is, the day before the Sabbath, Joseph of Arimathea, a prominent council member, who was himself waiting for the reign of Elohim, came boldly, went into Pilate and asked for the body of Yeshua.
Okay, very good. So we see in Matthew's version that he went and asked Pilate for the body, which I think just the simple fact of saying that, you know, he wasn't a regular guy, this rich man, Joseph, who goes and does this, because how does he have access? Why can he just go up to Pilate and just think that it was okay for him to say, you know, can we get this? Can we get the body? Like, how's he able to do it? But if we go to Mark, we'll come back to verse 42. But when we go to 43, let's say he's a prominent council member. Joseph is. This guy, this rich guy. Look that word up, counselor there. Advisor that is specifically
The Jewish Sanhedrin.
the Sanhedrin.
Yeah. He's a believer.
He's part of the Sanhedrin. He's part of the 70 elders. He's part of the crew of the people who was judging them in the first place, right? But he's up there in the community there where he's able to just Mark says he boldly went into Pilate. He went there like he was supposed to be there and asked for the body. But let's see, if we go down to that's Mark. If we go down to, let's see, if we go down to, let's look at Luke. Let's look at Luke, because Luke gives us a little more information. It tells us he's a council member. He's part of the Sanhedrin, who becomes a disciple of Yeshua. Read Luke 23:50 and 51.
Luke 23:50. And see a man named Joseph, a council member, a good and righteous man. He was not agreeing with their counsel indeed. From Ramathaim, the city of the Yehudim, who himself was also waiting for the reign of Elohim.
Okay, so this Sanhedrin who takes them to get judged in the first place, they're obviously, well, we know at least one of them didn't agree with this whole thing that they was doing. And, you know, it brings them up here. But also, let's see here. If we go down to John 19, John 19 also adds another name to the list. If we look at John 19:38 and 39.
John 19:38. And after this, Joseph of Ramathaim, being a top one of Yeshua, but secretly for fear of the Yehudim, asked Pilate that he might take the body of Yeshua, and Pilate gave permission. Therefore, he came and took the body of Yeshua. And Nicodemus, who at first came to Yeshua by night, also came bringing a mixture of myrrh and aloes, about 100 pounds.
Okay, very good. So we see two of Yeshua's kind of secret, kind of high-powered disciples, Nicodemus, who we know was a Pharisee, and this Joseph of Arimathea. Both is kind of together here with this whole thing with, you know, he go gets the body, and Nicodemus he got the oils and everything, you know, and they take the body and they take care of the body to wrap it up. And so I think it's interesting that again we see these prominent individuals who Joseph, you know, being kind of, you know, part of the Sanhedrin, who, you know, is part of this judgment in the first place, But like you know, the one account says that he didn't agree with any of this. He goes where I guess he's kind of outs himself by going to Pilate and being involved, right? Because he should be as one of the Sanhedrin, like just whatever, like who cares? Like they want him dead anyway. But like he up until this point was a secret, but I feel like he kind of is outing himself and not caring, by the way, when he goes and asks for the body. So I thought that was interesting there. But if we go back, let's go back up to Mark 15 and 42, where it's telling us when this is, right? Mark 15 and 42. Where we read where it was the preparation day, the day before the Sabbath. Now, when we look at this, mainstream Christianity wants this to be Friday. But in the context where we started, all the way back to where we started, we're at Yeshua dying at the time that the lamb was slain, which is Passover, which in fact is the preparation day for the feast day, not the weekly Sabbath. But you don't really have a differentiation in words in the Greek between a Shabbat and Shabbaton in the Greek. It's all, what is that? What's that word say there?
I mean, for the house.
You know what? It kind of looks like it, don't it?
Shabbaton, yeah.
It kind of sounds like it. That's Greek. But it looks like it's doing that same thing. But say, look, find it, search Sabbath in the New Testament there. Just search Sabbath and just pull up a New Testament verse. What number is that? Hold on. See what number that is before you do that. 43:15. Okay, go ahead. Oh, you know what? Just go down to the KJVC on that. Oh, interesting. It's only used right there. Interesting. Okay, so search Sabbath now. This is riveting stuff.
This is verse Acts 17. Oh, sure.
Okay, just go to Acts 17 too. That word for Sabbath is used right there only. Very interesting. So Acts
40. Stop.
What's that? What word is that right there? Ooh, that's a different word. That means the Sabbath day. It goes back to 76. That's a whole other word there. Okay, so that we just did something right there. It's not talking about the weekly Sabbath. I knew that already. I knew it wasn't talking about the weekly Sabbath, but when you look at the words in the Greek, it's not even pointing you to the weekly Sabbath. There's another word for the weekly Sabbath, which is this, what word is it? 45:21.
It is still
Well, that's Greek though. You know what I mean? What's 76, 76? Is
Oh, no, wait.
what is that right
No, it's
there?
because it's
See, that's
let's put it both together.
yeah. They don't differentiate. But what I'm saying is that in Mark, where it says the preparation day, that is the day before the Sabbath, that word is not that word. It's not the same word. Rightly so. Because it's not talking about the weekly Sabbath, it's talking about the first day of unleavened bread. Which isn't what we know of as Saturday. It wasn't the seventh day of the week. It was in the middle of the week. Because he said, them people asked him for a sign. He said, I'm not giving you no sign. The only sign you getting is the sign of Jonah. That spent 3 days and 3 nights in the belly of the fish. Not one day. Because if that's Friday, and it's basically evening time right there, that's one day. And 2 nights. It's not even 2 nights. It's one day. If the glove doesn't fit.
Oh my goodness.
What would you?
I was gonna say, so if you look at John 19, verse 31, it actually tells you it was a high day, not a Sabbath. It gives you the Sabbath was a high one. For that Sabbath was a high one. So John goes into more depth about what Sabbath it would have been. For that, on the stake on the Sabbath,
Yeah.
that Sabbath was a high one.
It's a high day.
I think when we understand what's going on, Feast of Unleavened Bread, Passover, it's easy for us to understand what it is because we're thinking about it in the proper context.
Yeah.
And so when you take Yeshua out of the proper context, Passover, Feast of Unleavened Bread, and just make it just be whatever,
Yeah.
you see the words, oh, preparation day, Sabbath, oh, it must be talking about Friday and Saturday. But he is our Passover lamb. He's redeeming us back to the Father. He's about to raise from the dead and become our first fruits. He's about to send back his spirit and be the fulfillment of Shavuot. It's like when we think about it in the context of what he's doing for us, we understand this perfectly. But then you have this other thought process that wants to just have these things like in and of themselves, and you know, we're able to go back and look and see Yeshua back with Noah. Because the whole Torah points us to Yeshua. And so the things that he's doing aren't these things that just only make sense in the New Testament. They make sense because they're fulfilling things that have already taken place in the Old Testament. And so it's interesting when you look at this and you see these words, you see what the people are saying, but it's, you know, Good Friday is just, to me, it's I don't want to say it's silly, but I don't know what else to say. I don't know what else to say besides that.
They're trying to make that
Well, I
glove.
mean, you got theologians that rationalize it.
And I don't understand it. I don't understand it because, you know, I respect the theologians and I respect scholarly research. But I don't understand how you get to those conclusions in a scholarly way. You can't. it don't fit. You can't get to those conclusions using scholarly methods. It turns into belief,
Yeah.
right? And it turns into something else because when you look at it and put all of the ingredients together in the thing, this is what you come up with. 3 days, 3 nights. This is like Wednesday, Thursday. It's Wednesday night. It's going into the next day. That's what we're talking about over here. Not Friday turning into Saturday. That don't work. It's not working. That don't work. But when we understand what this preparation day is Passover. It's Passover. Because it was Passover. It was the day before the Feast of Unleavened Bread. You could put that right there, and that's what it actually was right there. All right. What else do we got over here? What else do we got over here? All right. I guess that was kind of all of the things, huh? All right, does anybody have any thoughts or questions or comments about any of these things? Yeah, what? Yes, all right. I don't mean to say what. Yes, all right. Yes, go on.
Okay. All right, it's okay.
All right, next time, think about your question and write it down so that you can know what it's going to be. I think that, kind of just closing this down, when we look at this this last day of Yeshua and all of the things that he puts into action, it's this act that he does, this dying for our sin, this being this Passover lamb, this means by which we receive redemption back to the Father, this atoning sacrifice that he makes, who was in fact this perfect sacrifice that was without spot or blemish, and we see, if we think about this kind of, just thinking about it from like a historical standpoint, I think it's important that they give all of these things and be sure to tell us about the eyewitnesses that saw all of these things and that they began to believe based on that. That these people who weren't believers, people that didn't believe, when they saw what happened, they believed. This is kind of one of the main things that, again, from a historical standpoint, that people are looking at. There was this guy who really lived. He walked around and he did these things, and then they killed him. And then he came back to life again and was walking around. Like, that's why we have this thing happening today. Because people saw it and they talked about it and they kept on talking about it all the way up until now. And so, but we have a fuller context that it wasn't just about some guy that died and came back to life. But this guy is the reason why we're able to be connected back to the Father and experience life the way that it's supposed to be. And so it's so amazing that we're able to look here and see these things, and again put them in their proper context. All right. That being said, there's nothing else. We'll be done for now. Y'all willing, we'll be back on next Shabbat, continuing with the words of the Master and also the Torah portion. But until then, for now, we'll say Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.